Hi guys, Reynold here. Over the last week, I've been experimenting with Fina a lot. I've done some Missile Affinity team, trying to see how high I can get her damage. I've done some Evasion Affinity teams, see how well she works in those. And so today we're showcasing that first team, where we use Fina to support Evasion teams. So here's our team. We have a double evasion squad. They're going to benefit from the accuracy down from Fina's ability. So Tifa also has an accuracy down move, which is really good. But the fact is, she often has other options that do more damage if she's attacking a single target. And in that map that we're seeing, the enemies don't group all that often. So we actually need the accuracy down from Fina to get there. And with that, the evasion build seems to be very reliable from previous tests. So it's not too bad. If I quickly go over these characters, that's the overall stats. 400 luck isn't terrible. I'm running her as a paladin because I find that the Saintly Wall, after a lot of testing, brings more survivability than what the Courage does in a lot of matchups. Then we have Saintly Healing, Divine Grace, and Taunting Blade off. In her main job, everything is on. I'm thinking I could replace the Holy Knight's protection for Shadowrunner to increase her evasion, but so far this has been working out really well. One thing I would change though is Chimera and Tetrasulfid. I just don't have the resonance to do that just yet. And then if we look at To Be, well, she's got decent damage. In her main job, I turn off Resistance Field and Armor Deployment in this map because I find that she works better without them. And as a Pugilist, every ability is on. I just really love that sub-job, especially with Tifa's VC on the other side. Finally, the Lady of the Hour, Fina, has 1400 magic, which is crazy. Her heals are very, very high. She's got decent spirit and magic resistance at 30% magic resistance that we can see right here, but she's weak to everything else. And that's the reason why we have the Black Witch's TMR on her. It usually gives her enough effective HP to survive a hit from just about anybody unless they have a barrier breaker. If they do, she's down. She takes 8000 damage, which is way above her max HP, and dies. And then if her counter ability procs and she's still alive, she heals basically back to full HP, so that's a pretty good one. In terms of abilities on-off, I have turned off Regen, Cure, Shadowbind, and Charge from her main job, and I've also turned off basically everything from the sub-job. I just don't want an ability from any of her sub-jobs right now. And then all the range up passives are there. So that's how we'll be running Fina. I will be doing a little bit of a test with aimed fire, but from my experience, she works better with aimed fire off than on. Interestingly enough, the first team that I've managed to find that was a decent challenge has Frederika, Cloud, and an opposing Fina, so I guess you guys will see two different Fina builds. I do love the Fina supporting missile teams build because she uses the same vision cards to increase her damage, and I've actually seen her deal like 6000 damage to Duane when I was testing her out with that way. So their Fina should deal pretty serious damage, especially with a team like ours that is more bulky towards physical attacks than magical. But it's going to be an interesting thing to show. So ours has the barrier, which is pretty good, and just give me 1 second there. I realized that I forgot to change my settings from the farming. So there we go. That's going to be a little bit more entertaining to watch. So Fina gets extra AP. That's not going to matter too much. Our To Be starts moving in the middle, which is fine. Aimed fire on everybody. They did set up their early turns pretty well, so that might be an issue for us. Then Fina has her second turn, but if we had aimed fire or something else, she would have done something there. In our case, she only has a single buff to use, so that's the extent of what she's going to do. Then Frederika on the enemy side already has a sharpshoot on us, but it does not kill thanks to the barrier. If we've taken 34% more damage there, we would have died from that hit, so that goes to show the importance of that ability. So our Fina will have a bit of time to heal back, so that's pretty good. We get superior healing, 8000 HP. As you can tell, it's going to bring us back to full HP basically anytime. So Barrage from Cloud misses, but then Frederika has a chance to throw another sharpshoot, aims for To Be. So To Be takes a pretty serious hit, and looks like we're going to be taking her back to full life again. We hit Cloud once, but that was overall really low damage, not the type of thing I wanted to see there. So there we go. To Be's back to full, and let's see what the enemy team has in store now. It uses Sparkle Shower, so they don't go for an attack, which kind of surprises me. It is enough to kill our Fina, so that's definitely not great. And then they go for the triple hit guaranteed hits, so we're definitely not in a good situation, except for the fact that the enemy team has grouped. So we finish off 2, and then Frederika's alone against 2 of our members. We renew our barrier. Let's see just what happens. She is out of AP, but a basic attack is enough to kill To Be. And then what can Tifa do? Tifa says goodbye Fred and one-shots her. Very, very close matchup, but you can see the value of the healings from our Fina right there. So seeing how large this map is, for the second battle I have turned on aimed fire. I believe Fina has 2 turns to buff, so it's going to be a little bit better in terms of performance. We are now fighting Black Witch, Cloud, and Charlotte, obviously a pretty powerful enemy team. Cloud doesn't have bells though, and weirdly has Tifa's TMR. I'm not too sure what that's about, but let's just go in and see how our Fina performs. This is not a team claiming to be a top tier team. I'm just showing you guys how Fina can heal and deal decent damage in a evasion setup. Okay, so it seems like she prioritizes aimed fire over her own barrier. I didn't remember that from my initial testing, so it's definitely not as good as I would have wanted. Now she has to use that on her second turn, otherwise she'll be super squishy, which we definitely can't have. So Cloud has a buff, that's fine. The Black Witch is kind of isolated on their team, but she has her own barrier, so she is going to be very hard to kill. Fina pops the Grace, so there we go, she's ready to fight. And then Charlotte has the Hate up, so she's going to be our target, but she's more of a magic tank. I've tested Fina versus Charlotte a couple times, and since she has so much spirit, we don't do that much damage, even with the accuracy down move. Let's see, does Tifa win a duel against Cloud? I think so. Pretty sure it's going to take us 2 hits to kill Cloud and 2 turns for Cloud to kill our 2B, but he could win it if he gets a reflex off, so we'll see what happens there. So we hit her once, she gets quick action, that's fine. Cloud uses triple slash. Nope, he only needed a single turn to kill 2B. That is definitely a very bad scenario for us. Sparkle Shower, as you could see, that was half of the Black Witch's HP right there, so it wasn't too bad. But then I think our Fina moved in range of the enemy's Black Witch, so with that into the Black Witch's attack, we are going to lose Fina immediately. So, takes the bit of damage, uses Auto Cure, but yeah, not sure what the Black Witch is casting there, but it's probably going to be lethal. Tifa finishes off Charlotte, but then, okay, Devastation. That was a barrier breaker. Without that, Fina would have actually survived, which is kind of surprising to me. But there we go. Now the Black Witch takes an extra turn. Tifa is out of AP, so just uses a basic attack, and that is definitely bad for us. Let's see what's going to happen there. Cloud finally reaches, uses triple slash from across the map, so we lose quite a bit of HP. Black Witch uses another Black Rose's Judgment, and they end up winning. All due to Cloud winning his duel, I think. So, Duane, Black Witch, and Cloud. It's a pretty strong team. Black Witch has guaranteed hit, and so does Cloud. But Duane, if he's hit by the Sparkle Shower and has his accuracy reduced, actually can't hit anybody except Fina, from my experience in previous matches. So, that's not such a terrible matchup. We just need Fina to be able to hit a couple times. So, there she goes, uses her barrier on turn 1. Then 2B starts moving on her side, and Tifa puts on her physical barrier, which will help against almost everyone on the enemy team, so it's not too much of a waste. Okay, he has Midsummer Refreshment. That's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen a Cloud use that. And then Bells on Duane, and Accuracy up on the Black Witch. So unless we reduce her accuracy using Fina's ability or Tifa's, it's going to be super hard to deal with her. So there we go. Duane is now not accurate, but I believe Fina split herself in Duane's range, so it's kind of a trade of her life for that attack. Because I'm pretty sure Duane has the paycheck to one-shot her when he goes back onto her. Tifa has Unparalleled Strength, that's pretty good. Let's see what happens just there. So Cloud moves in, uses the triple slash, but we survive it barely. Then Duane runs forward. Nope, not in range to hit Fina just yet. And he is less than half HP down, so that's not too bad. I believe I saw Tifa dodge the Venerable Rose, which would be very fortunate because she has accuracy up right now, so she should be accurate enough to land it in most scenarios. But guess we're lucky, and that counts for something. So Fina goes and heals 2B, which is good, but now that Fina's in range of the enemies Duane and Black Witch, don't expect her to survive for too long. There she goes, Omni Strike on the Black Witch, one-shots her with the Barrier Break capability, and then Duane's like, Fina, you've done too much, I'm taking you out. So we lose 1, but we are still 2 against Duane, and he's half down, so it's going to be pretty easy to clean him up. Tifa says goodbye, and there we go. I'm very curious to see this one into action. They already have a maxed out Glaciela, Black Witch, and King Mont. That It just seems like a crazy team to me, so let's just see it in action. Again, our team is mainly resistant to physical threats, so that could be an issue, but the enemy Glaciela is also mainly resistant to physical threats, so if we manage to hit her with our Fina a couple times, then we'll be fairly good to go. It all depends whether Fina gets caught in AoEs and dies too quickly, because if that happens, we'll be in a pretty big amount of trouble. Seems like the enemy King Mont is rushing forward, and I'm not a big fan of that. He could potentially land a Berserk, and Fina's heal will remove the Berserk, but she has to not be caught in it for that to happen. So I'm not sure what to say. I guess we'll see how it goes. This time, our guys are all grouping in the middle though, so that's not too terrible, except for the fact that Fina then rushes forward. Decreases King Mont's accuracy, which isn't too bad. I just hope that they're not in range of King Mont just yet. So the Black Witch goes behind him and increases his accuracy. Damn it, King Mont, you were supposed to miss a couple hits. Now I'm pretty sure you won't miss anything, ever. Uses Proclamation and begins running forward. Also, look at how little HP King Mont lost from that attack, so he's definitely very tanky against the missile attacks that Fina can do. Moves forward, then Fina fires another arrow, again only hitting King Mont. His accuracy remains down, but that doesn't really matter much. Glaciela is still running behind. I'm not too sure what she's trying to provide. But King Mont, misses both, so definitely the accuracy downplayed its part right there. Devastation goes through Tifa's barrier, so that's not great. King Mont takes one hit. What can Tifa do? Uses Overpower on both, so King Mont is finally down, and then Fina has the chance to cast something, and I believe she's going for the heal, which will land right before the Black Witch's attack lands, so that's pretty good, except for the fact that we're taking 2 casts from the enemy team, so I believe we'll go down if they don't miss everything, which they seem to be doing. What a poorly accurate enemy team. I'm very surprised to see that many dodges come in from our squad, but that's what happens. Fina moves on to Glaciela, but Magic Reflex, so we won't be able to see the kind of damage we would have done right there. Tifa goes in, breaks the barrier, then Glaciela fights back. What does she decide to do? Uses Grand Explosion and misses again. We might have another chance to see Fina attack. Let's see if we see something happen right there or not. Sparkle Shower for 2000. Okay, so very low damage overall against this enemy team. But there we go. Apparently we won the fight unscathed. So that was it. Honestly, the team works fairly well. I'm having a lot of fun with it. There is the struggle of Cloud and guaranteed hits being very prevalent, which makes it harder to use. But in many matchups, Fina just does the job. Like, we take one guaranteed hit, Fina brings the person back to full life, and we eventually win the duel. Or if they don't have the guaranteed hits, Fina blinds them, and then we're good to go. Well, reduces accuracy, which is just about the same. So that was it. I'm keeping this one fairly short. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. And as per usual, guys, thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.